Hi guys, Sensor here, and welcome to another Shadowlands Alpha video. In this video, we're going to look at all of the Covenant abilities for the Paladin, starting with the Kyrian ability. So the Kyrian ability for Paladin is called Divine Toll, and it has a 30-yard range on a 1-minute cooldown. And it allows you to instantly cast either Holy Shock, Avenger's Shield, or Judgment on up to 5 targets within 30 yards. So if you're Holy, it'll do Holy Shock. If you're Prot, you'll do Avenger's Shield, and if you're Ret, you'll do Judgment. And they have to be within combat as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and gather up a few people just so you can see what it looks like. Though I imagine you can imagine what it looks like. It's multiple judgments. So yeah, just hits everybody. Nothing too great. Honestly, I don't think it's that great of a skill. It's great. It's great for AOE. Getting 5 judgment out is kind of nice for AOE, but in a single target situation, obviously useless. Um, because it's not going to hit a single target 5 times. It's still just going to throw one hammer out. However, as a tank or a healer, I think that's going to be really good. It's just throwing 5 shields out is pretty epic, but as holy, it's going to be really nice because it allows you to cast Holy Shock, and Holy Shock is a heal as well, so that's going to be good even on a single target boss fight. You can Holy Shock, you know, the enemy, and then if you're like in a dungeon group for allies. So I think that Divine Toll is actually going to be a really nice skill, and it makes sense because it's Kyrian, it's Paladin. It makes sense. But I think that it's going to be better for tank and healer than it is um, for ret, for DPS. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Alright, so for the Necrolord ability for Paladins, we've got Vanquishers Hammer. And it's a 30-second cooldown, 30-yard range, and it throws a hammer that deals shadow damage, and it empowers. It's different for each spec. So for Retribution, it empowers your next Templar's Verdict to automatically trigger Divine Storm. So you're basically getting 2 finishers for the price of one. It's still going to be a single target boost just because you're getting extra damage, but of course it's going to be, much better in an AoE situation. As for protection and holy, it's for protection, it's the next word of glory will trigger Shield of the Righteous, which is kind of nice because it'll allow you to heal and get a free Shield of the Righteous. Not only that, if it's on cooldown, then actually, they changed Shield of the Righteous. I didn't even because I didn't look at the tank stuff. It costs holy power now, so I think you can just keep using it. But either way, you get a free Shield of the Righteous. Um, and then for holy, it's your next Word of Glory will also trigger Light of Dawn. So pretty cool ability actually. I'll go ahead and show it to you real quick. See, the hammer itself looks, pretty much like the same, but and then yeah, triggered Divine Storm as well. It's pretty cool. I mean, compared to the other abilities, um, the other the other two, um, haven't done the Night Fae yet. That'll be next. But compared to the Kyrian and the Venturi one, as a Retribution Paladin at least, I like this one a lot. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, so the Venturi ability is Ashen Hollow, and it puts an area on the ground for 30 seconds that deals damage to all enemies in the area and heals an ally. So I'll just put it down right here. It is a very big area, and it's actually a pretty cool animation. It's pretty huge, and it also allows you to use Hammer of Wrath on any target that's in there. So even if they're not at low health, or even if you don't have your um, Avenging Wrath on, you can still use Hammer of Wrath. But um, the problem is it has a 4-minute cooldown. It looks really cool, and I really like the ability. But this 4-minute cooldown for 30-second duration, even though the area is huge, it's still just an area. I just don't like the fact that it's only 4 minutes. But if you can get the cooldown to be lower with like soul binds or something, I think this will actually be a pretty cool skill. Probably not my favorite skill, but I would say at least for a DPS retribution, it's probably my second favorite skill, and my favorite one is coming up. And finally, we come to the Night Fae ability for Paladins. Now, the Night Fae ability for Paladins is actually kind of cool. It's a blessing. It's blessing of the seasons, but there's four different blessings. So it's a 15-second cooldown, and you'll bless yourself and nearby party members for 1 minute. And each one does something different. So summer is the one that you start with. And it gives you a chance for your attacks to deal holy damage. So it's extra damage on top of what you're doing. So obviously the summer is like the DPS oriented one. The next one after that is autumn, and what that does is it reduces the cooldown of abilities by 10%. And then after autumn comes winter, and that makes attack speed and movement speed lower for enemies. And then finally, spring makes it so that increases the healing done and healing received by 10%. So, as a holy paladin, obviously you're going to want that 1 minute buff from spring. The problem is you start off in summer, so you'll have to wait all 15, 30, 45, like a whole minute before you can use your get the healing, the 10% healing bonus. But it is only on a 15-second cooldown, and you can use it at any time. So, uh, let me go ahead and use it real quick. It's pretty cool too. It's the Paladin book and the classic, what I've come to love, blue color animation. So as you can see, it has a little like blue stuff coming out when you attack. So it's a pretty cool animation. And the extra holy damage obviously is going to be nice on top of what you're doing. Now, is it going to be better damage overall than the other ones? Well, in a single target situation, I would say yeah, but in AOE, maybe not. But it looks really cool, and I think the extra bonuses are going to be, really nice. So you can just use it again, and you can see the symbol too. So if you don't actually know, or other people don't really know which one it's on, if they pay close attention to the symbol, they can tell because that was a hourglass. So reduce cooldowns, and then I can use it again to my attacks will reduce enemies' movement speed. It has a little ice thing because it's winter. So um, yeah, they can reduce movement speed. See, movement speed and attack speed reduced by 10%. So, pretty cool. And then summer or spring, increase healing done and healing received. So, yeah, it's really nice because each one of them is useful. The attack speed and movement speed is nice for uh, if you need to like slow things down, or even as a tank if you don't want to take as many hits. Obviously, the holy one is good for doing just a little bit of extra damage. Yeah, I think it's cool. It's like honestly, compared to now that we've seen all of them, I think that the Night Fae one is my favorite one, just like overall, because the blessings I think it's a pretty unique thing, and I can see that being pretty interesting when you add in the soul binds and the conduits and stuff. Uh, there's some there's definitely a lot of potential here, even if you have to go cycle through the different seasons. But with a 15-second cooldown, you can get away with like you can just use it before combat starts, for instance, if you want to start off with that healing thing, or really just cycle through any of them. So I think it's really cool. I don't know how effective it will be. Like the Kyrian one is definitely strong for tanks and healers, especially healers. I think it's the strongest for healer because it can, you know, use Holy Shock on allies to heal them. Uh, the Venturi one, I just think has too long of a cooldown. It could be pretty decent, but even with a pretty short cooldown, I mean, I think it would probably be stronger. But I still would like the Night Fae one more. And then the Necrolord one was, I mean, it's cool, but I just the extra. I mean, yes, it's a free thing, but I don't know. I think the Night Fae one is just cooler, and it's probably my favorite one for the Paladins. But anyway, that's all of the Paladin Covenant abilities. So if you liked the video, please give a like and subscribe for future videos. And as always, thanks for watching.